Happy Independence Day, Nigeria. To you listening, happy Independence Day. To you seeing me right now, happy Independence Day to you. Today is actually a day when we are supposed to take out a lot of time, to get to celebrate. Okay, for those people who are saying, don't wish me happy independence, stop it now. If someone wishes you happy independence, tell them I wish you the same thing. We're supposed to celebrate today. All right, this is Atlantic Television Network, and the program is Atlantic Blowout. And Atlantic Blowout is a syndicated live program of the network that features chit-chats and conversations on special interest topics on news, events, and stories through correspondence reports, expert opinion, and stakeholders analysis. Today, we have really interesting stories we'll be discussing, and I'm very particular about the stories we're taking today. We're looking at this one from the FCT, where the police has stated that no protest will be allowed. Remember that Nigerians have decided to come out in mass to protest today against hardship once again after the previous protests during the month of August. And now we'll take a story on electricity, where the minister has stated that over 40% of Nigerians enjoy steady supply. What does that mean? Does that mean that we really have gotten it right with electricity or not? My guests will get to let us know what they think about that one. And then on education, ASU have been in the news for almost every day this year. We get to talk about ASU. Well, ASU accuses federal government, and they've said that the committee that was set up to handle this particular matter is not effective. On bribe, you remain suspended, NCOS tells Anugwa and others. And then we'll take a special story on Independence Day, where we'll look at Nigeria in retrospect. We'll look at the journey and the way forward with our guests. After this break, we'll introduce our guests who will be analyzing these stories with us. My name is Enidoye Jackson. Please stay with us. Don't go anywhere. Thank you so much for staying right here with us. We appreciate the fact that you did not go anywhere, like we said earlier. I told you after that break, I will let you know who my guests in the studio are to celebrate independence with me this morning on Atlantic Blowout. I have on my right Frank Eneawaji Ogonunu. He is a public affairs analyst, duly representing. Good morning to you, Frank.
Thank you so very much. Happy independence and happy new month once again. It's a good thing to see the first day of October, the day of liberation, whether we like it or not. That day is indelible. No matter what we are passing through, we need to celebrate our nation, and we need to remember the effort of our founding fathers. It's also a mistake to have gone for independence, because independence is a kind of liberation, a kind of giving us hope that black people in Africa, in Nigeria in particular, can in a way organize themselves. But well, I won't go to the issue of the unfortunate issues that we are seeing.
We'll talk about that much later.
Congratulations to Nigerians.
I like the fact that that's coming from you. A lot of Nigerians have been saying, "Don't wish me happy independence," and I'm wondering why. I also have with me in the studio. Yes. Oh, you want to tell me why already? Oh God, you have a reason. All right. We also have with me in the studio, duly representing no other than Dandy Loveday. He is an economist and a public affairs analyst. Come on, take a look. Take a look at my guest. Good morning, Dandy.
Good morning. How you doing? Happy birthday, Nigeria. Happy Independence Day, Nigeria. Happy 64 years, Nigeria. Happy New Month, Nigerians, and happy Independence Day to you, Annie.
Happy Independence Day to you too, Dandy. Okay, let's delve straight into it. We have a lot of interesting stories. You know, I told you earlier. Today, we'll be taking the story first off from the FCT. It's Oktoberfest. That's the first day in the month of October. And, you know, a lot of Nigerians have been talking about this day. After the protests in August, we have been looking forward to, all right? A lot of Nigerians have been looking forward to today because they have decided to take to the streets. Let's find out what's going on. Yesterday, we had reports that the Assistant Inspector General Police Zone 7 AIG Bennett Igwe announced that no protests or processions will be allowed in Abuja, as intelligence reports suggest some groups are planning unauthorized demonstrations in the Federal Capital Territory. Speaking ahead of Nigeria's Independence Day, Igwe warned that any group, including the proscribed Islamic movement of Nigeria, attempting to stage protests will face the consequences. You heard that, any group at all. He emphasized that no application for a protest had been received by the police and only lawful assemblies will be permitted. Igwe stated that protests are allowed if they comply with the law, but for those acting outside legal bounds, they will face the enforcement of the law. Okay, they said no application was received for a protest, and so no protest will be allowed in the FCT. I'd like to bring you in on this one first. Frank.
I want to say without mixing words, it is not acceptable anywhere in the world for somebody suffering to apply before we protest. No. Anybody who does that, you are also trying to hoodwink the people. You are also trying to suppress the people. See, one thing is very clear. We know that someone can break the law.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that everybody will break the law. Protest is a normal way of expressing one feeling, whether positive or negative, against what is happening in the land. So telling me that they have not received any application. Application for what? Nigerians have been writing application for job without even having reply. Sorry, are you aware that you can, if you, in a civil society, whether you be employed or not, if you apply, they can also reply you that maybe by virtue of social thing, you didn't meet up the condition. Yes, that's what is obtainable in the civil way, because you have asked people to apply. And by virtue of being able to apply, what do? You assess their works or the applications. And if not found worthy, you give right reasons why he's not employed. So telling Nigerians that they have not received any application to protest, therefore nobody should protest, is alien to democracy, is alien to civil rule. This is a product of tyranny that I have to apply. So you will now look at mine and say my application is not granted. No. You know, like I am hungry. Somebody who is hungry, what does he need? He needs food. If you are asking me to apply before I eat food, it means something is wrong. The stomach of a man does not need application. The moment somebody is hungry, the next thing he needs is food. So what the AIG, Adebayo has said, is out of place. In a way, it's a strategy to intimidate Nigerians. It's a strategy to detect, even when they know that what is happening is obvious.
But they are supposed to secure the people.
We secure. Let me tell you,
that's the responsibility of the security agencies.
Yes.
And
so
that must be on ground during the protest.
They don't need. It's not. Let us also know it. Even in civil society, there was protest in UK about a month ago. If the protest turns violent, what do? You come out. But let me tell you, the protesters or the organizer of the protests, they have also issued press statement over a month ago that on this first day of our Independence Day, which is 1st of October, which is sacrosanct, that they will protest in Nigeria about hardship that is ongoing. Because up to today, I listened to Mr. President some minutes ago. As passionate as he was, we still need things that will speak for themselves. But as it is always those in government who are beating the drums of their victory. The victory song should be for the people. You are telling me now you are giving 60-something, 62 or 65 vehicle, these so-called CMG buses. What will 65 do?
64.
64. What can it solve?
It's for a start.
Free start. But Nigeria. So, see, let me tell you for free. Nigerians are good people, and our leaders know what we want, and they can solve the problems. They can solve it. But leadership is about solving problems, not by enriching themselves.
What you just made reference to the president's speech, and it doesn't in any way imply
that
the problems will not be, or the president doesn't want to solve the problem.
No, he wants to solve the problem. Let me say that.
Okay.
But the speed, and when we look at what they say, like this is a president who have come to inherit, according to him, to inherit a kind of hardship, to inherit poor governance, to inherit poverty. So what do? You would think well.
All right.
To be able to solve the problem for the people.
I would have to pause you there so that we can bring Dandy into the conversation. I know he's so eager to, impute one or two in this one. Please, your thoughts.
Okay. It's out of place for the AIG or whosoever to say nobody will protest. We know it's not lawful. In fact, you can't stop it, especially because everybody have the right to protest. So, but I also know the AIG or whosoever have the right to say it's unlawful for anybody to carry out violent protest. So I agree with him on that. So, but for anyone to just come up and decide that the protest will not hold, it doesn't really cover it. But what are they protesting for? If you want to protest, why choose today? And if you're choosing today as a day of protest, specify why you're protesting. And then let Nigerians understand that it's because of hunger, it's because of this and all that. Then if the AIG is saying you must not protest, let's also know, is it because there will be a celebration around Lagos Square? And then citing what had happened during the era of President Goodluck Jonathan, where on this day, there was a bomb blast. So is it what the AIG is trying to prevent? So if the AIG can list out some of these things, I would then agree with the AIG that you have a point if you say the FCT. He was specific, he said the FCT. So he didn't say the entire state. So if the presidents are also saying, no, it's not going to be as at what happened with the Henry Oka issue and all that.
How can the protesters really say?
No, because
they have stated that it's going to be a peaceful protest.
Okay.
And that's exactly what they also said August, right? That was the plan. That's the initial plan. But you know, sometimes when these miscreants take over the protest, you cannot really tell. Sometimes people usually say that they're not even part of the protesters. They're just people who are taking advantage of what is going on to strike.
If the AIG have expressed his fear towards the protest, it's left to the protesters to say, your fear is out of place. These are the plans and this is what we want to do. So don't even come up with such fear. I know very well that if the protesters are serious, and the police also may have intelligence, they may also know that within the protesters, somebody can also come up to say this thing is not about protest. Some persons wants to carry out some unlawful acts. And then the police could also come out to express their fear.
But is it not expected? We've had this over and over and over again. We've had Nigerians come out in mass to protest. We have seen the way it's turned out.
It can't be expected.
So it's not expected that some people might want to take advantage of the day, the protest?
Even if you expect it, you can't generalize it. Even the last protest, everywhere, we didn't experience violence everywhere.
But we experienced violence in some places.
And the police were there to guide the people.
That's what I'm saying.
So they can also say, at this point, this was what happened.
So instead of saying, do not protest and no protest should hold at all, don't you think that could have been a better way? Like making sure that the men are on ground to protect and, you know, to safeguard
that
the
is why from the beginning I said the police do not have rights to say you don't protest, but they also have right to say don't carry out unlawful acts in the name of protest. So you can stop people from protesting, but you can now use your professionalism to safeguard what is going on as protest. Now, to make sure it's not being hijacked.
There have been talks about the last protest as a previous protest in August, and I've heard a lot of people say that after the protest, what happened? In fact, people have channeled. Some people feel like it was because of the protest that we had an increase in fuel price after the protest. So, how do you see these protests turning out? How do you see the result from your own analysis?
It's a pity that in Nigeria, before you even want to do something, we are given a result, which is not a good thing, and that's why we are not developing. Sorry, you're like, at least Mr. President, he has already achieved everything. That's what we have seen. You've not achieved something, but we are singing glorious songs. How we are just mere statement. Sorry, you know, I am a fan of Donald Trump, the president candidate of Republican America. There was something he said. A leader's statement is a law that must be obeyed to the letter. He said, when I come on board, I will build a wall between Mexico and America. The question is, did he do it? Did he start it? To my informed mind, it is yes. So when people say, this one will not give any good result, how the person is saying it, did he participate in it? Our leaders know how to divide us.
So you feel like the previous protest had positive results?
For me, yes.
What can you point out to?
President reacted on it. You know about it, whether you like it or not.
A lot of Nigerians felt like that was not enough.
Yes, I agree with you, but in a way, they have sent a signal.
Did he really mention the protest the last time?
Whether he mentioned or not, it was the protest that was carried out that triggered a sudden second nation broadcast. Okay. So when I would like, you see, also the populists, the so-called masses are the ones also are giving our political leaders the effort to do what they are doing.
How do you mean?
Let me tell you for free. Bible says a city divided against itself cannot stand. We are having a common problem, hunger in the land, inflation in the land. Sorry, for me to reach here, I paid thousands of naira, not in dollars.
And it's usually not that way.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Sorry. To take a flight from Port Harcourt to Abuja now, it's almost going to 200,000 naira. Can you pay in dollar, even in the state of California, to New York, $5,000 in airplane? The answer is no. They have made our money like paper that we are begging for answers.
I'm still waiting for the results that you see.
The result, listen, I said first of all, It was the result also that made them to talk with Dangote. Let me tell you for free. But if you observe before the protest, the issue of Dangote not even refining, issue of using dollar to buy crude. I'm not looking for Dangote. He's a businessman. Okay. They're not trying to make Nigeria feel that nothing will work in this country. Make them to say, look, we will do it. Even the issue of buses today, even the issue of minimum wage today. Right. And they are also begging us that, oh look, we'll improve on the standard of living. It's a signal to tell the world that the power to rule is in the hands of the people. And when people are united, what is happening in this country that most Nigerians are not united. Today as I was coming here, like we discussed the issuance of a threat. It's a threat to protesters not to come out. As I was coming here, people are on the road now as I'm talking with you. I saw crowd. Even Meshaka mentioned at this pleasure park in Port Harcourt. People are gathering now to make sure the protest, because you use a day that is so sacrosanct.
Yeah, but Andy, talking about the day, Andy mentioned why October 1.
Why October?
I
Okay.
think there's a problem with that particular.
No, the October 1. Okay, you know, like you said.
Let me just get to here.
Okay.
I think they just want to send a strong signal. I think that's the target. Maybe probably the protesters are feeling that the last protest didn't yield the desired result. So let's use this day that is supposed to be a celebration. Do you think there's a
problem with that, with the day that has been chosen?
If that is like with the protesters to say that this is the day we want to send signal.
Because
but my challenge with that
day,
my challenge is that with that day is that on what happened previous administration under Goodluck Jonathan, where on this day at Abuja, a bomb blast took place. So I think we shouldn't let such scenario to repeat itself.
Is it the bomb blast at the UN headquarters? That was not an issue of protest on protest day. It's not about protest that did that.
It was on Independence
Day. But not on protest.
Not on protest.
Not on protest.
What I'm saying is that for us to preempt such situation in a gathering, you can't even tell if such incident will occur again. So we just
let me say something on this. Yes. Any. As of 20 years ago, when I was younger than this age, you don't tell Nigerians to wear green, white, green.
They just come out.
People on their own spend their money.
Frank, well, we're wearing green, white, green.
No, I don't say anything negative. I mean, go to the streets. Go to the streets.
I understand what you're saying.
See, we buy flag. Even in my house, I put it on my television. Nigerian flag.
We'll talk so much about the.
I don't make money from it.
Let's look at power. Let's look at the power sector now. The Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabo, has revealed that over 40% of Nigerians now experience up to 20 hours of daily electricity supply. This improvement, achieved through radical measures under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, is part of efforts to stabilize and enhance power distribution across the country. Adelabo has highlighted the installation of new power plants, the Zungeru hydroelectric plant, which increased the national generation capacity to over 14,000 megawatts, with 5,500 megawatts being actively transmitted and distributed. And he emphasized that reliable power supply is critical for Nigeria's economic and industrial development. Of over 40% of Nigerians are currently enjoying steady supply. That's what the minister said. Does that really result to us? Does it mean that we have gotten it right with electricity, Dandy?
Over 40%. Okay, I don't know the criteria at which the minister arrived at that. I don't even know how he got to that extent. But generally, there are some areas where we can also say electricity
is steady.
Yeah, it maybe has improved. I won't even say steady because even the band A area, you can't even have it.
But he said steady. He said 20 hours. Those were his words.
That's 20 hours is not steady. It has improved.
In Nigeria.
If you say that, but again, if he's saying that, that's why I said I don't even understand the criteria. It could be within the township, because I know very well that in certain rural areas, let me not even generalize. In my own area, let's talk about the Emoha local government area, where I come from. I don't even want to say, so that nobody will say I'm pointing area. That area have not seen light for about 3 years and over 6 months. They've not seen electricity. They've not seen the bulb have not shined. That's to talk about. So that's why I said I don't even know. And when you talk about it, you're talking about generally a government. We didn't say there have been local government chairmen. Local government chairman. So if that area, will you also rate that area among, that is to mention one part in the generality of us as a nation. We don't even want to talk about what other areas could be facing. Now when you leave that area, you go into communities. Something happened within that area. A particular community got the light and then saw it for 4 days and it went off again. All because of what? It could be power tussle.
That means it was even possible for power to actually come into that.
That's why I said, due to the fact when they brought the light, they said there have been power on that high tension. And then what happened? Along the line, it went up. Probably because they said the local chairman there or the whatever, whosoever, could not agree in terms with the power holding company. Now that's one. Will the minister go to that area and tell them that power has improved for 40%? That's also not to take away the fact that there could also be areas that power have improved. So for the essence is this: can't we go beyond 40%? If actually even the 40% we are doubting, 40 over 100, that's fair. Should I say an E? We are coming up, but even without 40%, we are doubting it. So more should be done in electricity. Even in this studio, if you rely on power, we'll be out of light. And then we're talking about underdevelopment. We don't even have electricity. We're talking about inflation. We're going to face more inflation if the producers cannot have steady power supply. So the minister should go beyond that. I know it's a federal issue. I don't even know if they've even relegated that power to the states to also provide. But whatever it is, we should do beyond 40%. The 40% is not obtainable. It's not even a reality.
You know, there have been talks about us supplying power to other countries, and a lot of Nigerians, the common man would just normally wonder that what is now going on with Nigeria having steady power, or more than what it actually has been stated. Yes, Frank.
Well, I want to say it is very, very sad that when our political leaders want to issue a statement, they will just give blanket statement as if we don't feel. Telling us that over 40% of Nigerians have steady power supply is not true. What parameter, what indices did they use to come up with the result? For me, when you say steady, means that it's static. It does not go off. That's why I thank God for the way my colleague also said it. When you say something is steady is not moving, not blink. There's not even a blink. It's constant. So we don't have constant power supply in Nigeria. About 40% of Nigerians will say, oh, even Asorok, are you aware? Even go and check the budget of 2023. Fuel generator was budgeted. Are you aware? So if we have steady power supply for 40% of Nigerians, it means there's a high level of improvement. Well, in academics we say weak tax.
That doesn't sound like you're doubting this statement.
I am doubting because there's not steady power supply. And I also did myself to him, because he just said also, even when they want to hide under 20 hours. 20 hours, is it steady? What happened to the 4 hours? For those of us who live in skyscraper in America, so 4 hours won't go down. Are you aware? People enter lifts to access their houses. 24 hours will be in darkness. You can't come down.
You check the time.
The time. That's what we all check how to eat in Nigeria.
But before these statements are made, don't you think that the ministry actually has some data to back it up?
The data they will not make.
And then steps that probably have been taken that then came up with this result.
Let me help you. Like Mr. President said this morning, he's in the office about 16 months now, 16 months, according to him. What is the rural electrification project of this administration? Is it also about only those in Abuja or those in Lagos? Every Nigerian should enjoy regular power supply, constant regular power supply. Like you always say, today the price of diesel is about 1,000 naira. The price of petrol, called PMS, is above 1,000 naira in Nigeria. In Anthony, where I come from, a liter is 1,700 naira. It's not that I'm joking. I'm not falsifying. I'm saying the reality on ground.
In a fuel station or
which fuel station? Is that every place we have fuel station?
No, there's no fuel station.
There's no fuel station. So I think what I'm saying is maybe allusion that we don't know how to make reference to. What is not concerned, the parameter he used is
General Hospital is dead. Now as I'm talking to you, the whole of that LGA, you can't even boast of a general hospital. So anybody can just come out.
The LGA.
The whole of the LGA, you can't. In fact, for that community, there's no one. Not even one. In fact, the only one there was even when I tried and met effort. The local government chairman then, Tom Alezi, I can also specify it. I met him. I said, "What are you doing? Even your community does not have this." And he told me boldly he was going to make up with the then community chief and then a rent, even if it has to do with a health center. He started the next one that came. He started to an extent. He roofed it, left office. The next one that came said, "No, this was not the standard. This is not a good standard." De-roofed it and it's still de-roofed it now. As I'm talking to you. So, what's my point? How do people in that area survive? And somebody can just sit around Abuja and also rate it that the health center in Nigeria is good. Just like the Minister of Power is now sitting in Abuja to now rate it that the electricity is everywhere. So it is good to get back to the rural areas and know what the people are going through before you can now say Nigeria is all is well with Nigeria.
Can I just add something?
30 seconds, Frank.
I will do.
It's counting.
I grew up in a village. Up to today, we've not seen electricity. Yes, today, my village is motorable. You can drive from Port Harcourt, maybe in the next 2-3 hours, you can get to my village. Call it Commandant. What happened to the federal government? This is a Ministry of Power. Then there should be a program scheme for rural electrification project. Not giving money to what they call constitutive project to people to come and deceive us. There should be proactive way. There should be strategies to actually make it work.
All right.
We have what it takes to make power supply steady.
Thank you so much.
But now it's not steady.
All right, that's for the power sector. Let's go to education. The zonal coordinator of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU Calabar Zone, Happiness Udok, has accused the federal government subcommittee of being uninterested in resolving the union's demands, calling the committee ineffective. ASU issued a 14-day ultimatum to the federal government demanding the conclusion of the renegotiation of the 2009 FGN-ASU agreement, which they claim is outdated, and the release of the withheld salaries from 2022 strike. They also seek the payment of unpaid staff salaries affected by the integrated payroll and personal information system, and the release of outstanding third-party deductions. Frank, I'll bring you in on this one first.
Well, it's unfortunate. You know what to call ASU. Are you aware that just about a year ago or 2 years, the other wanted to divide ASU and also call it hunger, whatever. My concern is, I was told education is power. Education is a light. Education is the bedrock of development. It gives room to people to go on research, so that this country can grow. It's also where we are not also doing the right thing in helping the university system to engage on research or researchers. It will also help us to grow beyond this level. I tell people, look, a nation grows based on its level of education. But as of now, there are people who have the knowledge. But when you play with that knowledge, what happens? The knowledge will not be used. I know of a professor some years ago, Professor Mohammed, of ABU in Zaria, who said he wrote a letter asking for grant of then how much? 10 million to embark on research on issue of a palm tree. Nigeria government turned him down, refused to answer. But he has a way to Japa. I think there's a way called Japa is not English word. He has a way to travel out of this country and went to Malaysia. And he wrote to Malaysian government asking a grant of $20 million. Not Naira. In Nigeria, he asked for 10 million. But in Malaysia, he asked for $20 million. And the government of Malaysia in Nigeria said, graciously, without any issue of racial discrimination, granted him. And he said, nothing is lost in palm tree. Nothing is, everything is important, is useful. So what they are saying now is that I want to pray that this federal government, the issue of that 2009 agreement, should not be thrown overboard.
Okay.
Let it be that something is used, because ASU, so for some time, have been threatening to go on strike. And when they go on strike, who suffers? The students. I pray that they should look into, we have been told to our budget for education is below standard, considering the UNESCO standard. So what is something that they should look into the affairs of ASU and make them to also bring out the best in them to make our system to work. Because education, when not properly done, will not also help our nation to harness our natural resources and human capacity development.
Why do you think that this committee, according to ASU, is being ineffective? And why do you think there have been a back and forth with conversations, dialogue, all this while, and yet the 2009 agreement has not been met?
That's because everybody, let me not even say personally, I'm even tired of ASU going on strike. What are they going every time strike and all that? And they may be pointing out their reason, and it has remained with that 2009 agreement and all that. Which area, which sector is functioning well in Nigeria? So we should shut down the country, and you the only one people are even, I call it managing and all that. You're shutting, you've been going on strike and all that. What came up? What came up? And then when you go on strike, you leave the students to just do anything and you can find out what's happening within the campuses. So
what do you suggest they do? Because it's more than just the 2000. In fact, if you go through the 2009 agreement, you realize that if some of these things are kept, our educational sector will be better.
Of course, it will be better. ASU should keep agitating, but this strike option is not it. For me,
that seems like the way they are able to get the federal government's attention.
After that, they will be paid. Then after that, the students you've delayed their career, who pays them? Who pays them? And we've been on this line and nothing is coming up. You just know that we have bad, if it has to do with bad governance in our education, no government should toy with the education sector. Then you ask yourself, which other sector is even the government touching very well, and where we'll say, yeah, this sector is good, is well. So, and then you now keep on with people graduating and other, you go on that, later federal government will say no work, no pay, they won't pay you, later they pay them, and then the future you've delayed, who pays them? And then that leads us more into, and I don't mind, it's the devil's workshop, leads us into insecurity and all that. So I don't think, personally, I don't think this strike should be an option. Just like they are agitating that nobody should go and protest. The last protest they did, even university campuses came up to say we are not part of it, no student will be part of it. Now you want to go on strike, please also don't go on strike. Let's keep going with Nigeria the way we are going. Because if you didn't want everybody, nobody, my colleague here said we should have united, come up with that protest and then achieve something generally. Now you want to go your own, and everybody should support ASU that they are going on strike. Later they will be paid, and then the students the students are always at the receiving end. So I don't support this strike.
All right, Frank, do you agree with what Dandy has said about ASU, continuing with the agitation instead of going on strike?
No, they can continue the agitation. I won't say they should go on strike because see, thank God at my time I did not suffer strike, but I suffered something that delayed my NYSC. I want to say, because like you just said also, the more you go on strike, the more you delay the people. Who suffers for the payment of school fees? Who suffers for the upkeep? The people, the parents. Some people in the school today, they are the ones training themselves. Some people don't have access to even loan. If you even sure of the federal government loan that it has become a thing that nobody is talking about, nobody knows the procedures involved. So for me, strike in education should not be the best option.
All right, thank you.
But because in Nigeria, they say when you go on strike, that's the only music the government can dance well and be happy to respond to your need. But I am not saying that strike should be the best option.
All right, thank you, Frank. Nigeria Correctional Service has confirmed the suspension of senior officers involved in ethical violations related to the custody of cross-dresser Idris Okune, that's also known as Bobrisky, at the Kirikiri Custodial Center. This comes after Deputy Controller of Corrections, DCC Michael Anugwa, in charge of the Medium Security Custodial Center, Kirikiri, claimed during a parliamentary inquiry that he had not been suspended. Contrary to orders from the Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubumitunde Ojo, and if you saw that video, they said, oh, does it mean that what you had was a social media suspension? In a statement, the NCOS spokesman, ACC Abubakar Umar, reiterated that the suspensions effective from September 26, 2024 were officially communicated to the officers involved. The officers suspended were also mentioned, and moving on with the story, the NCOS assured the public that a thorough investigation will be conducted and those found guilty will be punished according to public service rules and relevant laws. What's played out here, Dandy?
First, he should remain suspended. For me, he should, if found guilty, he should be. I think this should serve as a deterrent to others. The courts have taken a decision and said you are going you've been imprisoned.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden something went back, and then we're hearing the person didn't actually go didn't obey. In fact, it's not even like he didn't obey. He had his way, and all, whether it's he or she, whatever, he had his way. Of course, he accepted that he's male. He's a male.
So we'll work with that.
So let's say he now had his way. Somebody disobeyed court ruling, not even the person. So it's a great danger to democracy. Whosoever that is involved. This is Bobrisky. Who knows what has been going on with other VIPs? No wonder when Bobrisky came out of this prison, he was even shining more than. And then you could ask yourself, is it the same prison that some persons will come up and then they start taking them to health centers and all that and all that? He was shining like he has been eating. When I was growing up, I heard they will give you drinks that is not done. As if he was even eating chicken. He was shining more than Nigerians that are looking for food.
True. And
then somebody should stay there. And in fact, he went there, and then other officers made money. If found to be true, they should be dismissed from that place.
Oh, all right, Frank.
Well, that has revealed how decayed our system is. But why? It has also exposed the way our leaders, both political leaders and not in charge of agencies of government, behave. They are above the law.
They're not above the law.
Sorry, it's a word I choose based on the way they are behaving. Law, a court said that this man should be remanded. In where? In Kirikiri prison. Not in a 20 million or 200 million mansion. And that shows that there is no supervision. We have been told that people in the prison are even sending money to their relatives outside. How come that happens in Nigeria?
Wait, that people in prison are sending money to their
relatives
outside?
But it's not exactly what is happening now. It has also is a reflection of the society. It has also convinced me today that what people said to me about 10 years ago, that when somebody was in prison, he was the one also even helping his family outside. Now look at it now. Now look at it. It's a revelation of so many things that are going on in this country. The law is only about the common man. That as I'm talking with you now, they say, oh, Frank was prosecuted, and they will not even me to see the light of the room, the small window. They will not allow me to see the light from the small window. They will put me like as if I'm taken to Guantanamo Bay prison in America. So let me tell you, it is sad, and that's why if we don't change, our country will not change. Look at somebody who was said, it's just, they said no fine. He shouldn't pay fine to go to his house. But look at what has happened. He was not in the prison.
According to reports.
That is it now.
Allegedly.
I agree with what allegedly or allegation, whichever way, it's like no allegation now. But should that be an allegation? Who was in prison? Who are his mates? The roommates in the prison, because prison used to have mates. Who can come and testify, or that's another way to pay bribe? To say, yes, I was with Bobrisky in prison. No, it's funny experience. It shows the wrong. It is telling the world that our system is after manipulation. Anything that is manipulated, anything that is being manipulated is not normal. I will not produce the needed result. But what you call correctional center, about 2 years ago, they changed the name from prison to correctional center. Actually, is it correctional center now?
Isn't it?
It's not now.
Why? Why did you say so?
If somebody was sent to prison, correctional center to be corrected. In the end, he ended up staying in somebody's apartment, somebody's mansion, where he's like my brother is eating chicken. He's a shawarma. He's not testing.
Is that the grievous?
No. There should be a therapist. There should be a therapist.
Okay.
To tell him that what he did was wrong. But yeah, you see people. He was according to the report now. No, you can also see what the man in charge of prison in Nigeria was saying, that he was not suspended.
Now there have been fears that this whole story might be
in a civilized society. For this to have been made public, which has made the National Assembly to consider a committee, some people have resigned. It's an insult on Nigerians. Sorry, some people have even.
But investigations have to be carried out first.
Sorry for such a scam.
Yeah,
investigations have to be carried out first.
Some people will willingly resign.
Sorry, because it's an insult.
You can't see.
No, resigning is not going to stop you. It's not going to listen. Resigning is not going to stop you from being prosecuted if you're found guilty.
Hello, the governor of New York State, 2 years ago, just an allegation, like I said, allegedly. I think what that was. We're talking of national institution.
And also for integrity's sake.
That is it, yes.
To protect your integrity.
National institution, and that should protect my life. That should give me a new orientation how to see Nigeria. So when, like he just said also, which I will agree with him in a way. So when big men are sentenced by court in Nigeria, nobody monitors their sentencing. How they are
allegedly.
Yes, allegedly. So yes. I will say it. Yes. How they are also serving the punishment. And that's why, let me tell you something. Some years ago, about 5-7 years during the Buhari administration, Goodluck's administration, when Buhari Sariki was the Senate president. Are you aware that assembly members, as Senate president was going to the court, you will see over 70 lawmakers leading him to court? That tells you how our country is being run. They can come over and embarrass me even in this studio.
There have been fears that the whole story, because there's so much to this story, down to the names that were being mentioned, down to the parts where they talked about the correctional service, down to the parts where they talked about the EFCC, down to, Bobrisky suing Very Dark Man now for 1 billion naira, and Very Dark Man counter suing Bobrisky. And now people there are fears about that this could be their attention could be diverted
so there's
from actually what it is.
In fact, I even wanted to state it that I hope this matter will not just die, because it's now trending. At the time they will come up with something that will make it just go. In fact, even Faz also stated that I read that story on social media where he said even from that prison, just like you're saying, Bobrisky was asking for 2 million,
3 million
3
naira.
million naira.
Yes.
So he could settle this. So there are a lot of
He
evidence.
could use the VIP section of the
Exactly. So a lot. In fact, if Nigeria in an advanced country, this is an opportunity to now sanitize that area. We should use this opportunity. There should be more to this. They should get other incidents that have happened that didn't come up. They should, in fact, I think they should
more
go
investigations
deeper,
should be made. All right, thank you so much.
That is it. And also this matter, because before you know that it become APC PDP politics. Oh, because that one is a loyal fan of social party. We thought our national interest is at stake. Can we for once, just like when President Tinubu sworn in the new Chief Justice of the Federation. And when I look at this statement, we should be able to sanitize the system by our conduct, but our body language to speak, not we talking now. We are on top. We need to see it done.
All right.
But the people should see it that it is working.
Okay. We'll go on a short break now. We will take some time off now. And after that, we'll talk about Nigeria and the Independence Day. Taking a look at our country in retrospect, looking at the journey and the way forward. Please stay with us in ATN. Let's move on to our major topic for discussion today. As Nigeria celebrates our Independence Day, we take a moment to reflect on the nation's journey. It's been 64 years since independence, so we're going to pause to consider how far we have come, from the early days of nation building to the challenges that we have faced, down to the opportunities that define our present, and then the question now is, how far so far? Now, let me quickly ask my guests that, in their opinion, since Nigeria's independence, how far so far? What have we achieved? What would you say we have actually achieved? And, before we move on to what we need to be done and all of that, let's start with the man who has the, flag represented in his, in his dressing. Yes, Dandy.
Okay, we've achieved a lot as a nation, even if we have lots of challenges. One thing we've achieved is one, independence. We've achieved that, and then that led us into democracy. Our achievement of democracy is one huge thing as a nation we have achieved, which involved the voting process, the right to vote, the right to be voted for, and all that. So we've also achieved, we've achieved some new roads we've achieved. Then we've achieved series of presidential election and all that. In fact, we've achieved oneness, unity as a nation. We've achieved unity.
We actually have achieved unity.
Yes, we've achieved unity as a nation. We've not disintegrated. We've remained one and all that. And then we've also achieved a new national anthem.
Oh, we have brought back. All right, let's start with the achievements now, Frank.
Well, for 64 years, Nigeria is growing in terms of covering the landmass where there were no houses. People are building houses. The building designer, I would say, are different from the ones in that 1960. You can see that we have more beautiful housing in terms of good facilities around us. I want to say that Nigerians are developing themselves as people. Nigerians are creative. They are making sure that things work according to their plan. I will not say that, well, in a way, since we want you to go for achievement, I will tell you, and I hope you also allow me to tell us where we are not doing well.
We'll start with achievements first. What we have achieved?
I will say that before independence or after independence, there was no road to my community or to Anthony in a way. But today now we can drive to my village and come back. I will also say that we are also creating more ministries in the federal government, more ministries, also in some state government, more ministries.
Is this sounding like a sarcastic
No, it's not, no, they are developing. It's about the development. That's what expansion. It's not sarcastic. It's not. I'm not being. No. Okay. I don't. We are developing. Again, the way you look at it, also, they are building more bridges and more flyovers. It's about development because the city state or the city test is showing. You can see that everything.
What about in leadership? What would you say we have achieved in
leadership?
Yes.
If you want, I want to be controversial in leadership. We are not making the progress. Only few leaders in Nigeria now. We want to think of the federal government of Nigeria, that is the mother of independence. Because where you will see independence be celebrated on a very jubilant way should be the body language of the federal government. As a man, as a father, as a wife, as a brother to somebody, and as a leader to some people, we don't need to tell anybody that today is independence. But what are we saying? there is no atmosphere of celebration.
Yeah, but we've achieved the 3 tiers of government. That's also a plus.
In leadership.
Achieved, stabilized to an extent, even if they are doing judiciary. We've also achieved the local government system, which is aimed at bringing government.
Oh yeah. Before then, it
they
was
now
not.
have autonomy. For
Yeah, so we've, to an extent, is a bit. I don't know if I can say the government is a little bit decentralized and all that. I think we have power that Abuja have. All the states and all that. So things are
for leadership.
For leadership.
Yes,
so a lot is going on. We've also achieved where we've established different parastatals agencies and then ministries that are going on.
Yeah.
They may not
the NEMA, even the NAFDAC, it wasn't there before.
Exactly. Yes,
road safety, and even this civil defense was not there in some.
Then also freedom of press freedom.
Press freedom, information bill.
And all that. Before now, you can't even.
You cannot
even go.
So we are
without receiving beating. All those things have been.
You know, sometimes it's good for us to really take our time to talk about some of these achievements, some of the positivity.
Yes, let me also come to that. Also, there was positive development. Today, so many individuals have been given license to operate radio station and television. Some years past, it was like we want to pass through the eye of the vein of lion to assess it. But today, like in River State now, Port Harcourt, we have almost 20 radio stations. So imagine. Which in the 70s and 80s, we only have one or two, and it's owned by the government of River State. But for now, we have so many private.
Yeah, and those days you wait for 4 p.m.
Yes.
And after then it's off.
That's all.
And also we've also achieved being giant of Africa as a nation. We are in charge of the ECOWAS and other. So lots of those achievements. If we weren't doing well, nobody will give you to head the ECOWAS and all that. So we are.
I'm so excited that, especially Frank. Frank has something good to say about our achievements, and I'm so excited about that. But you know, while we look at what we have achieved as a nation in 64 years, let us also look at some aspects that we need to improve upon.
Well, let me, without delay.
You see, Frank didn't even let me call him. He just entered. But where we probably are not getting it right currently.
I want to talk about even democracy. I want to talk about refineries. Sorry. This refinery was built immediately after independence. I was not born during the time of and the oil was struck before independence. Oil was struck before independence. But after independence, military government. After the first civil war, or after the civil war, military government took over and built refineries. So where we are not getting it right is why we allowed our national asset of that nature to go moribund. That as you and me are fighting ourselves, Nigeria is an importer of refined crude, which ought not to be so. So we get it wrong, leadership on that aspect. Again, I also lament as a Nigerian who should be celebrating and wearing black, green and white. Polo up or yellow green down. Ajakuta steel industry that should help us to get steel today. Rod, go and check. Go and ask a price of maybe 16 rod. It's almost a salary of some people. One. 16 even 10 12 that we need for construction of houses and roads. We get it wrong not to do that thing. Right. Coming to us, why we have not done it right. Look at the way our leaders are not also promoting our naira. Sorry, it may sound for no way. One of the things they use against Bobrisky is the abuse of naira.
So how would you still say we're not promoting our naira?
I'm telling you, yes. Are we a nation, a sovereign nation, that using another currency. Sorry. The beauty of sovereignty, of nationhood, is that you have something that you can use anytime, anywhere, without being feel ashamed. Our political leaders today don't even, I don't want to mention some both religious leaders don't use our naira. That alone is fighting against the development of this nation. Let us be frank, because any nation that must strive, that must achieve purpose or purposeful leadership and development in everything, the currency must be like the Minister of Power said, steady. Must be steady. Today our currency is being abused by our political leaders. That's why you see, even during election, as my vice, at least I monitored the election that was done last year, that dollars were freely given to people, and we said vote buying in Nigeria. Why not promote our currency?
So they should buy the votes with naira. Even
if you want to buy, as if I want to succumb to the buying. Why use a lot? So
no, we're not succumbing to
that. I know. I say even if
it's illegal.
What I'm trying to say is it's wrong for our naira to be relegated to the background in our own nation. It is wrong.
All right.
That's what you see. Investors don't believe in our currency. Let me also tell you this. It will shock you. During independence, what's our currency? Naira and kobo. Is it true? Today we hardly hear kobo. And what is kobo? Kobo is a coin. If you travel out of this country, you will use coin, no matter who you are. If you go to maybe all these shopping malls to buy something in advanced society, and your change is coins, the machine will bring your coin out for you. It's not true. Today, as we are discussing today, everything is in theory.
All right, Dandy, let's bring you in on this conversation.
Okay. The area, we have challenges in various areas, and I will begin with the electoral system. Okay. We need to get it right in our electoral system. The issue, it looks like it's getting worse in each passing day, because currently, it was late President Omar Musa Yar'Adua who came up to agree to the fact that the election that brought him in was not perfect, was not something he envisaged, so that he was going to take it off from there. And I also think we should go back to that statement and then try to make our electoral system work. Right now, we are still being accused of vote buying, which is not supposed to be so. We're still being accused of rigging people into power. 64 years of democracy, we're not supposed to be facing such challenge and all that. Then that takes me also to our health sector. It looks as if we're still independent in our health sector. A situation where for you to get very good medication, you have to travel out for you to be able to get that. 64-year-old country is not a small country. I think we should do more in our health sector. The education sector also is still threatening strike. We are still even battling with the issue of should there be free education, should there not be early child care education, should be taken into recognition. It should be taken serious as a nation. Then 64 years, we are still battling with our roads. We're still battling with our road. Most communities up to now do not even have roads. Some are still struggling to have road and all that. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. I know of a community around even my own area and all that. My local government, like in the Delhi area and all that, they don't even have road till now and all that. So these things, we need to put these things into. Then our security.
The community does not have a road.
The community doesn't. There's no tied road.
In the whole community.
The community is in Delhi, in Emoha local government. Go there from beginning. There's no road, so the government have to. The government have to come up to fix the road in the community. Just recently, the local government chairman took a part, not even the main road, a part. You know, they had to do a smaller one so that they could be able to. No, they took a part and then did that other part. And the community has been agitating. Please give us road. That's one community out of 1,000. So the government at this stage, we should even have grown beyond community seeking for road, and then we don't even, as a nation, we can't boast of industries. industries, and then we're talking about our GDP. What's the level of our GDP? We are not producing as a nation. We're still depending on importation. It's not supposed to be, but right now we should be exporting as a nation. We also have challenges in our security architecture. There's no, we can't, the motivation is low, and then we don't even have the technologies to dictate crime. It's a challenge. The road should be fixed. The railway, we are still even battling in that angle. So there are a lot of challenges that as a nation we need to. Our electricity, our power, the power sector is something else. He mentioned refinery. That is even the one that is killing Nigerians. And a lot of these are just happening. Then our communication sector. Can Nigeria boast of one communication company and all that and say this is our own? It's doing well. Anywhere you go, we can browse, we can do anything. So we have a lot of challenges.
All of these that you've mentioned is taking us back to leadership.
Yes.
So with our leadership, how do you think we can make it right or get it right?
Okay, if you take me back to the speech by the president today, it sounded encouraging. And if he has even mentioned of merging as a way of reducing costs, merging some ministries and all that, then coming up with youth conversion and all that. So if that could be done, if we can take it down. He then mentioned that, you've also mentioned the issue of states taking off agricultural, they said they've brought about, they are planning to issue, what's it called, fertilizers to states, and then applauded some states that have queued into that. And we are still talking about states queuing into 64 years. So it means there are challenges. So the leaders should come up. There should be political will to do what is right, and then reduce corruption. The issue where one person wants to eat here, let's say for instance, you are the Senate this. You want to be in charge of a high prep, you want to be in charge of this, you want to be in charge of any, you want to be this and all that, and then you're collecting the whole money there. It's not worth it. Let it go to the people. Let it get to the grassroots. Let the people feel. In fact, we have not even done well in the area of human capital development. We've not also done well in the area of employment. People graduate. And also, in our education sector, there should be change of curriculum. We are too theoretical. Let's go into practical. One thing the government can do, this particular government can do that will please me. Let's change that issue where you tell us, draw and label fish. Let's go into where you say, get a fish. Get a fish.
Advocating
I don't even think that's what ASU is advocating. How many lecturers are good at that? That's even where we should start. Let's get good brains. The people who are into music, talents are we even harnessing talents? People are just developing their talent. We, the president, also recognizing his speech. Are we doing anything to harness talents, even our education sector?
Yes, Dandy mentioned corruption. How do you think we can get past this big issue that is, eating deep in different sectors in Nigeria?
We need to, at least, to be honest. There's no corruption-free society on it. That I must say it. No corruption-free society on it. Even in America or China, I follow news. But one good thing that is happening in those communities, in those nations, is that if you are caught, the law of the land will be used against you to verify whether you are wrong, and you will be sentenced. So in Nigeria, but the more so far you are in power. I say something as if maybe I was against Nigeria. I'm not against Nigeria. I love this country. I would have gone out of this country. I have a ability to go out of this country. But I love this country. For me, let our leaders respect our laws. Sorry. One funny that is killing this country, when you see that the president should project the law is the one saying nothing will happen. I think nothing will happen. Sorry, please, I will see like what happened in America where the son of Joe Biden was sentenced. Can you happen in Nigeria? Can you sentence the son of a governor, son of president? This is what we are afraid. So, we need independence of judiciary.
All right.
Independence of the National Assembly, because I think that the National Assembly is not independent. We have to be frank.
Thank you.
We need clear-cut independence that you and me will believe in. So I can wear green, white, green, and nobody will say, why are you promoting this country in my own country?
There's also a danger going on in the
judiciary. We're wrapping up now.
There's also a danger going on in the judiciary that we need to guide against as we are heading on to
which are you making reference?
A situation where a court order, one court is giving another, another court is giving the same order, another court is giving another. Which one do you obey? So it's a death trap for the country.
A lot needs to be done. There's so much we need to do to take our country to greater heights, and that's why we talk about it. That's why we prefer solutions, and we expect that these solutions would be looked into. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation, Frank.
It's a pleasure. I want to say once again, happy independence. Nigeria must change, and we must also change and do the right thing.
Thank you so much, Dandy Lofty.
Thank you for having me. Nigeria, great nation, united nation.
All right, this is where we wrap it up. Remember to stay connected with us on all of our ITN socials: Facebook, YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram, TikTok at Atlantic TV Network 1, X at Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website at www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Happy Independence, Nigeria. My name is Enidoye Jackson. Coming up next is Open Conversation. Don't go anywhere.